Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. If you are new, hello. My name is Ann and this is Middle Class Budgets. We are too rich for assistance, but too poor to pay for things. So we are stretching our money to make it enough. Y'all, today's video is going to be a little different. It's going to be a plan with me versus a budgeting video. And I'm going to give y'all some updates of where I've been. So stick around. Hey y'all, so I'm not quite sure what happened to the audio in this portion of the video, so I am attempting to do a voiceover. This is my first time doing a voiceover, so just bear with me. I know that the words I'm saying is not going to match the actions because I can't really remember what I was saying when I was doing the action, so yeah. But I do want to start off the video by explaining where I've been and just give a little background of where I am now. So back in December of 2024, I applied for a regional special education position for a charter school company that is in the southern states. Come January, I did an interview and I passed the interview. I don't know what else to say. I passed the interview, and from that first interview, I did a one-on-one interview with just the hiring manager, and from there, in February, I had to do a panel interview, and the panel interview was with 5 different individuals. And at this panel interview, I had to submit an educational portfolio, and then I also had to include samples of lesson plans. And they gave me and I had to do a PowerPoint with a topic, a special education topic that they provided to me. And I passed all of that with flying colors because I ended up signing a letter of commitment. So a letter of commitment is different than an offer letter. But I was supposed to get my offer letter closer to when I would start, because you have to keep in mind I am a teacher and we sign contracts, and if I was to break my teaching contract halfway through the year, that would be a mark on my teaching license, and I do not want marks on my teacher license. So we agreed that I would finish out my contract and that I will start that new position on June 9th. And then in April, I actually received an offer letter. And y'all, I want to say this was going to be the first time in my career that I was actually going to be making 6 figures. Like, the whole time I've been a teacher, all these years, I have never made 6 figures. This was going to be the first time I made 6 figures, and this would be the first time that I was going to be in like a manager type position. So I was absolutely thrilled. And of course, it was also the bonus for this was, so I do want to point out what I'm doing in the video real quick. So my son, I am potty training him. So the AM and the PM potties is training habits is what I'm tracking, because his daycare has already told me that if he is not potty trained by the time he is 3, they is kicking him out of the daycare. And I actually really like that daycare, and part of me wants to move him because I don't want to ever put my child somewhere where he's not wanted. And if you're telling me, oh, either he gets potty trained by 3 or we are kicking him out, that kind of upsets me. But I do like the staff that's there. Like, I like the teachers. And so this is my way of checking off. He may not go, but I still want to make sure that I put him on the potty when he first wakes up, and then before he goes to bed. And I have the expectation that they are doing the same at daycare. And I'm also laying down speech therapy because my son do have speech therapy twice a week, Wednesdays and Fridays, for an hour each time. So back to my position, back to the position I was talking about. So the position was remote. It was supposed to be 100% remote. But I did have to do a 1-week training at their headquarters, which, hey, I didn't realize my hair was in it. Sorry, that was so random. But I was supposed to do a 1-week training at their headquarters. And it was just about, how you learn the company culture, company policies, onboarding, all of that information. And so come to June 9th, when I first arrived, for starters, the receptionist did not know who I was. I told her, "Hi, I'm here for my first day of work." I gave the hiring manager's name and the HR director's name, because I was in contact with both the HR manager, HR director, and then the hiring manager. She still didn't know who I was. And so she told me, "Please have a seat in this like office lounge type area," and that she would get in contact with the HR manager. So she got in contact with the HR manager, and I was just waiting, and I was waiting. And about an hour and a half later, the HR director comes out, and she's like, "Hi, come to the office with me." So I'm assuming that I'm going in there to fill out paperwork, like first new hire paperwork and stuff like that. Get my badge, get all the different information, get the computer, get the just everyday new job type thing. But no, that's actually not what happened. So I went in there, and she sits me down. She's sitting across the desk from me. I'm sitting here waiting for her to tell me what we're gonna do, give me and like the plan for today, like who I'm gonna meet, all this type of stuff. And instead, she explains that they are rescinding my offer letter because they decided to go with an internal candidate. Yep, they rescinded the offer letter on my first day of work while I'm there because they decided to go with an internal candidate. And she's like, "I'm sorry, we meant to notify you prior to this moment, we but they didn't, I guess. And then she tried to say that it was the HR manager, because this is a director I'm talking to. She was saying the HR manager was the one that was supposed to notify me that they were going for a different candidate, and told me, pretty much, you're out of luck. But instead, no one told me that. So here I am at the headquarters, expecting to, start my new 6-figure position, get my, what I'm saying, be introduced to who my manager was gonna be introduced to the other staff, just do all the everyday onboarding, trainings, learn about the company culture, learn about policies and procedures, just everyday onboarding information, for lack of a better word. And instead, she was telling me that they are rescinding my offer letter while I'm sitting there in their face because they decided to go for an internal candidate. So this was shocking to me. I can't even remember what I did after that. I know when I got back to the hotel room, I just started crying because I did not renew my teaching contract. For those who don't know, like you have to renew your contract every year to teach for the next year. So I did not renew the 25-26 contract because I knew that I didn't need it. I have this new 6-figure position. I didn't do summer school. I didn't teach for summer school. I was not putting in applications or anything. And in hindsight, that was my fault. Because they always say you don't have the job until you get the offer letter. But I had the offer letter. And I even had a start date. I was even there the first day. And it just was pulled from me like that. And so my finances was already in a precarious situation. Like, if you've watched me for many years now, you've known that my budget and my expenses and my income has fluctuated a lot. My bills have relatively stayed the same. I know some bills are too high for my income, but this position was supposed to help me finally be financially stable. Like, it was the accumulation of all the years of struggle, and like all the years of struggles that I did. This position was supposed to validate that. It was supposed to give me the financial freedom. It was supposed to help me start my fire journey. And instead, it did not. Because what ultimately happened was I ended up filing Chapter 7 bankruptcy. So I know, how did I get from losing the job to file in Chapter 7 bankruptcy. So again, I was already living paycheck to paycheck, less than paycheck to paycheck prior to get in this position. And like I said, and I didn't change anything with the position. What I did was I stopped doing my 1099 positions. And because I wanted to fully focus on being, a supervisor. This was my first ever manager position. I wanted to focus on being a manager. But again, I can sit here and as I'm telling y'all what happened, hindsight is 50-50. So what led me to file bankruptcy was I didn't have any money coming in. I didn't have my 1099 positions because I decided not to do them because I had this new position coming up. I decided not to do summer school teaching. And so as you see, now I do DoorDash and Uber. And so what Live Ops is that's a 1099 company. And they just have different contracts that you can sign up to work for, but they pay you by talk time. So you can sit on a contract for 5 hours, but if you only have a 5-minute phone call, you only get paid for the 5-minute phone call. And then so there's that. So in order to make that work, you have to have at least 2 to 3 contracts. So that's what I'm doing now. And I was telling you why I filed bankruptcy. So the reason I filed bankruptcy was because my income, I didn't have no income coming in over the summer. And for those who don't know, my debt was about $2,000 a month. That's how much I was paying in debt, $2,000 a month, which was not attainable. So when I sat down, I met with another bankruptcy attorney, and we sat down and we went over my expenses and we went over my income. And there was no way, I can't even sugarcoat it. There was no way my income, because again, I didn't have any income. I did have a little savings. I think I had about $2,500 in savings. And so, which was 1 month, so that's not even all my bills. 1 month of rent is $2,000. So that wasn't even enough to cover my bills. So we went over my bills, and so it's really interesting. What do you do? And then you have to give an estimate of what you think you're gonna spend in a year. I had to give an estimate of how much do I think I'm gonna need. Medical and car repairs, and how much I'm gonna spend for clothes and stuff like that. Because what they do is they take your income and then they divide it by 12 months, and that's how they determine how much if you can file for Chapter 7 or Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Once they've factored in my income, and I'm a 2-person household, it's me and my son. Excuse me. Once they factored in all that, I didn't pass the means test. So I filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And I do want to apologize. I just realized that you can't see the whole planner in this frame. So I filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy. I already had my 341 meeting, which is the meeting of the creditors. You go before the trustee who either approves or denies your bankruptcy. I was a no asset case because I don't have any assets. I do have a retirement, but they can't touch retirement. And then my son has a small 529 plan. It's only I think I put in $300, and they couldn't touch that. And so now I'm just waiting to be discharged. And what that means, and I think it's 60 days after your 341 meeting. So the whole bankruptcy process from filing to finish is 90 days, because 30 days after you file, you have your 341 meeting, and 60 days after your 341 meeting, it's discharged. So I just wanted to give an update on where I've been and what I've been up to. But yeah, so that's what happened. And until next time, bye, budgeters.